Hi Rohan, how are you today? I'm doing great, sir. Thank you. Excited to be here. Great to hear. Let's jump straight into the technical part of our interview. Could you implement a queue in JavaScript for me? Sure, sir, but can you specify the exact requirements for this queue implementation? Of course, here are the requirements. The queue should have the standard operations enqueue, dequeue, front, isEmpty, and size. You can use arrays for the internal storage. Sure, sir. So I'll firstly list down the requirements and then I'll start by creating the class named queue. We'll use constructor to initialize the empty array which we'll use to track the items. So moving on to the implementation of enqueue method, we'll take the element as an parameter and then push it to the array. Moving on to the implementation of dequeue, would simply return the uh, first element. We could use the inbuilt method of array named as shift. So it will go like this, which we will which will remove the first element and return also. So before that, we would also need to check if the queue is empty or not. For this, we could use if it is empty, then we won't go on further and return queue is empty. Now to implement the isEmpty method, we would simply check if the length of the array is equal to 0 or not. If it is 0, then that means queue is empty. Uh, then to implement the front, it will be straightforward, like the first element of the array. Implementing size would also be the straightforward task, as we will simply return the length of the array. Now to check if our implementation is working correctly, I'll firstly create a new variable named queue. So it will be object which will be created like this. Uh, now let's say we enqueue few elements in the queue. Insert few elements in the queue. Let's say it's 10, 20, 30, 40. And then let's say we have to check the front element. Then dequeue. Then again front element. Then the size of the queue. And finally check if it is empty or not. Yeah. So let's first see the output. It is 10, 10 for the front and dequeue. After dequeuing the first element, it will be 20. Front would be 20 and then the size is 3. So this would work as follows. So let's say we have the queue. So while after initializing, it will be the empty array. So now let's say we have 10, 20, 30, 40. So line 25 to 28 will do like this. We'll put in the items in the array and then line 30 would print out the 10. DQ will remove the 10 and the array. So firstly, The array indices would be like this. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So like this. So 10 would be at index 0, 20 at 1, 30 at 2, 40 at 3. So after the execution of line 31, 10 will be removed and all the items would be shifted to the right side. So like this itself. So now 20 would be the new array of 0, 30 array of 1 and so on. Yeah, so that's it. Awesome. Everything seems to be working perfectly. Now can you add a method to clear the queue and another method to print the current elements of the queue? Sure, sir. So implementing clear would be straightforward. We would simply uh, do this with all the items would be an empty array would be inserted in items. So to print out the current elements, print elements. So this function would return the string representation of all the items in the array. Here also we would need to firstly check if the queue is empty or not. If it is empty, we'll say queue is empty. And then we will return the string representation of the array for which we will use the join method, and separator would be spacebar, which you can verify by this. And also if we do, yeah, so it is the queue dot clear, it doesn't return anything, so therefore there is no point to log that. So yeah, print elements is also working as expected. Great job, Rohan. Thank you for demonstrating your skills today. Thank you, Hi, sir. Rohan.